you're kind of pressuring me to do things I want to do, and then that's an issue. First day he pulled up in your brother's car, your brother's hoopty.
I was hyped.
Word. And he broke up with me over the phone, mind you.
And I felt like that guy was calling me towards to be like Paul.
An anxiety attack. These were the demands I was getting from this man.
I'm telling her like, wow, I want nothing to do with you.
Like, you want to hear this love story? Because people really think this is like this beautiful love story, and it's not. Hi, you guys. Welcome and welcome back to our channel. I'm Lynette.
I'm Sadiq.
And we're just us Watts. Today we're going to be talking about our relationship, or as some people would put it, our love story, how it happened, how we got here. I don't know if we're going to get through all of it today. We might not, but we're going to start all the way back in the beginning. So if you guys are interested in knowing about that, I know some of you guys follow us on TikTok, and a lot of people were questioning and asking us how did we get here and what that story looks like. So we're sharing. So if you guys are here from TikTok, welcome. And if you guys are new, we hope you enjoy the ride.
Yes, I guess I'll start.
The beginning?
Yeah, beginning. Back in 2016, I remember that I sent Lynette a DM. And
yeah, but how did... Okay, but yeah, back in 2016, but remember, we didn't know each other from a can of paint.
No.
So we always debate about this. I believe I was the one that followed you on social media, but you were the one who DM'd.
Oh.
I think that's how it went down. I think I saw you under a mutual post or page or something that we both followed, and I was like, oh, who's this guy?
Right.
And I think I followed you, but you made the first move.
Right. And during that time, I was like really going hard for the Lord. Like,
yeah.
I was like, she practically thought that I was like a preacher or something.
That was a running joke between me and my friends though, because like, you can't blame me. Your stance, your posture, the way you were carrying yourself, like you was out here in trench coats. You was out here in trench coats.
I was out here in all like baggies, suits.
Yes.
Like I was.
Yes, and it was baggy. His suits was baggy. He didn't have that much swag back then, y'all. I'm gonna be real.
I was doing the whole.
He had that much swag back then, but he was cute. He was cute and he loved God, and I was like, oh, my heart.
Yeah.
So I was, it was winter break, and I was taking a flight back home. Yeah. For winter break. We were in college. What was this, like my junior year in college, I think? Yeah, junior year. And I went back home for winter break. Home for me is St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. So he saw my story while I was going back home, and he saw the pictures and the stories I was posting, and he obviously see I'm on like this island or whatever, and he's kind of like slides in my DM like, what I gotta do to be able to travel like you? And I was like, boy.
It started a conversation though. You know?
It was smooth though, and I was like, boy, this is home. This is not a vacation. I mean, at least not to me, it wasn't a vacation, but I mean, I always love going back home. Right. So that kind of was like the beginning of like our conversations and whatnot. We was kind of like just talking here and there. I think we ended up exchanging numbers at some point.
Yeah, but we was mainly talking on Instagram.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we were.
I didn't really ask for your number.
No.
Not yet.
But there was a point in time where you were trying to come to New York, remember? Because, we didn't even give that context. At the time, I was staying in New York. I was going to college in New York. You were staying in Jersey at the time. Yeah. So we had never even seen each other in person. Right. And when I got back from break, we still were continuing to text like here and there on IG. Yeah. And you eventually, you told me that you were going to be in New York for something. Like it was like a conference or something with your family. Yeah. Remember? Yeah. And you were like, I might be in New York. Like, am I going to see you? Whatever. And it didn't happen.
Nah, it didn't happen.
I forgot why it didn't happen, but it didn't happen. So fast forward, we were talking on and off. Yeah. But it wasn't like super consistent because after winter break that was, okay, it feels strange. Was it junior year? 2016? When did I graduate? 2017. No, so that was my senior year then, not my junior. I take that back. It was senior. Because we talked a little bit on and off in my second semester. Yeah. And then after I graduated, I moved to But I moved to North Jersey, like boondocks,
Far,
North Jersey.
but
And he was in South Jersey. So we were like, what, an hour and a half distance from each other?
yeah.
And it was after I moved that he insisted that we meet up.
Yeah, that's the time that we
Applebee's was our first date, okay? Applebee's was our first date. He pulled up in your brother. Applebee's was our first date, okay? Applebee's was our first date. He pulled up in your brother's car, your brother's hoopty.
I was hyped.
Word. He pulled up. I did not have a car yet because I had just moved. This was like the summer right after I graduated college. I didn't have a car yet. And this car, your brother's hoopty.
I was hyped.
Word. He pulled up. I did not have a car yet because I had just moved. This was like the summer right after I graduated college. I didn't have a car yet. And I remember, I think that day I ran errands, like I went grocery shopping, and I think I kept the same outfit I had on, which was like a white tee and jeans and like some kind of like Van lookalikes. Right, and he pulled up in a white tee, jeans, and Vans, and I was like, are we matching? Like, what the heck?
And we didn't even plan it.
We did not. We really didn't, though. It was so funny, because I was like, okay, we're in the same outfit, and you were so shy.
Yeah.
He was so shy. It was so funny, because...
I was nervous.
Yeah.
Like,
I was nervous, too, though.
I'm like, this might be the one. Because you gotta remember, like, I think we both discussed our sexual intimacy.
Right.
To where I told you I was celibate for 3 years.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, and you said you were celibate.
I was celibate for about, this was what, senior year? So about at least a year and a half, I want to say. It was a while. I was celibate for a while.
Right.
Yeah. we were both celibate, so we weren't really getting into any of that stuff.
Right.
At the time. So it was really just, we was really just going off of communication and you know, just how we clicked with each other. So our first date was IHOP. It was funny because I remember you were like avoiding eye contact. I mean, I said IHOP, Applebee's. You were kind of avoiding contact. It was kind of cute though.
Yeah. It was fun.
To this day, I still like going to Applebee's because of that, because it reminds me of that time.
Yeah, it's very nostalgic.
It's very nostalgic for us now. And it was so sweet. It was real cute. We did that, and then I think you just went back, right? You dropped me back.
Yeah.
I think that was it. But mind you, y'all, he's driving an hour and a half for this. It's a good hour and a half drive, and homeboy was committed, and I appreciated the dedication.
Word. I was hyped. I
Word.
was like, man, you never know. This might be the one. You feel me? You don't really, especially during that time, like you wasn't really meeting a lot of women that was really celibate.
No.
You know, that was really, especially just chasing after the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, at that time.
Yeah.
2000.
Yeah. And like, cause this is the thing, I was single for a while, and I was like really hoping that I could find like a godly man, and it was hard. Like I met a lot of nice guys, like decent guys, but I didn't meet a lot of godly guys, and that was like a make or break for me. So that made, you know, just dating in general kind of difficult.
Yeah.
In that sense, because a lot of times they just didn't understand where I was coming from and didn't see what was a big deal, and I was just like, yeah, but you're kind of pressuring me to do things I want to do, and then that's an issue. So we definitely experienced that, and then things were going well. We kind of started seeing each other a little bit more frequently. Like you would come up with your brother's car, and we would hang out a little bit more often. I started going to Resting Place, which is where he was going. Resting Place was basically like this after hours.
It's basically a house of prayer.
Yeah.
It's like the house of prayer.
Worship.
Yeah.
It was a lot of worship. They would worship for hours and hours, and I loved it. It was really nice going there, and he was actually interning there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and crazily enough, Resting Place was like 15 minutes from where I lived, which was so crazy. So he used to drive an hour and change out to the Resting Place, and me also living so close, I used to go there. And it also was an opportunity for us to see each other as well, because it was like, if you're gonna drive all the way up here,
let's go here.
right? It just made sense. So it was a nice place for us to not only meet but commune with each other and commune with God. So that was really fun.
So you got the chance to worship God.
Yeah.
When did we start really dating?
I want to say it was probably in August, September, either August, whenever, it was around the time when the twin hurricanes hit the Virgin Islands, because at that time it was kind of a sad time for me because my family was caught in that hurricane, and I remember it being a difficult time, and I remember you were there with me, and I was kind of telling you like what that was like and everything that was going on, and it was a little nerve-wracking. So it was around that time. It was either August or September, but it was around that time. And we dated for about a month. Now this is the thing. This is the thing, right? Let me let y'all know something, right? So we started to date. We were in a relationship, and I'll be honest, we were how that Bridgerton show was when the chick was like, "I burned for you," like. That's how it felt. Like, it was exciting, it was new, and to have the connection that we just had off rip, and to also know that we both had that mutual interest in God, it just made everything just feel a lot more intense and just elevated. And I can definitely say we found ourselves in situations where we were very tempted to go further, and we did not. We didn't, but there was a lot of very tempting situations. So that was just context, but we dated for about like a month, just about a month. I want to say it wasn't even that long, crazily enough.
Yeah, and I was a part of Resting Place. I was part of the internship. I felt like God was taking me to the next level, and I felt like that relationship that we had was a hindrance to my walk with God, and I felt like that God was calling me towards to be like Paul, to where just not having a relationship, but you just chasing after the Lord.
So what happened? Did that happen?
No, it did not.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just thought it was, and I was just thinking about it, and when that happened, I'm like, man, nah, I don't think God called me to be lonely. I don't know what happened at that time. I'm like, I think I received some words, some prophet, something, and I'm like, cause we were seeing each other a lot, so I'm like, you know what, let's just break it off, and if we do reconvene, then it might be the one. It might be the one.
Yeah, so he broke up on me, y'all. I was butthurt. I was crying like a baby. And he broke up with me over the phone, mind you. He didn't even have the decency to tell me to my face. Literally called me, avoided me all day. He played like we were cool during the day. And then by nighttime, called me to tell me he don't want to be together no more. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you break my heart? How dare you get me to fall in love with you, and then you dump me? I was butthurt.
I don't know what that guy was thinking.
I was butthurt. I'm not even gonna hold you. I was crying. Like, I was crying so bad. It was so bad. Anywho, I was crying, like, and I was so sick because I had to go to work the next day, and I had to pretend like everything was okay. And that was so rough for me. Like, I could not. Like, I was trying so hard to smile at work, and I was just so not happy. And only plus side to my day, I think, because I used to Uber to work because I didn't have a car yet, and my Uber driver, he was the sweetest. He was sent from God, because it was so funny. He had a Bible on his dashboard, and I don't know how he knew, but he just asked me, if I was a woman of God, like if I believed in God and whatnot, and I was like, yeah, I am. Then he was like, I don't know why, but it's like when you stepped in my car, I felt your presence. Like, I just knew. Like, when you stepped in, I recognized you. As if he recognized me as a fellow follower of Christ.
Kindred spirit.
Yes, that. And I was like,
Holy Ghost.
what? And we was chopping it up a little bit, and as we were like approaching my my job building, he was like, I don't know, but I feel like I should tell you, that there's people in that building that you're gonna impact, and the people that need you, that they need your presence, and you're gonna like do all this, like you're gonna be great, and all this stuff. And it's kind of like, it cheered me up. I can't remember everything he said, but like it cheered me up a good bit to get through the morning. And I was like, I needed that, God, because I was about to break down at work. But it made me feel encouraged. It didn't make me feel like all was lost. So yeah.
So this is like, I would say probably beginning of 2018.
No, this was all 17. Oh, so that was in 18 was the downfall.
Oh, yeah.
That was the downfall. Like, that's where things actually get good here.
Okay.
So we broke up in 2017. We dated for like a month, a hot month. That was it. Done, right? And then we still were seeing each other though, like not like intentionally, like we're seeing each other because we're just in the same place, same time situation. So like I would still go to resting place from time to time. He was still there. So I would run into him. I remember it was like a couple months after we broke up, I had like my first major mental and spiritual breakdown. And that was such a rough and dark time. Like I had, and this is kind of me being vulnerable, but I had an anxiety attack, and it was intense. Like it lasted a week. My heart was racing. My heart was at an elevated pace for 7 days. It would not stop, and I already had the tendency to kind of like isolate myself, and by me doing that, I started to kind of spiral a little bit, and that was just so rough. Like I was just trying to find anybody that would help me in that time, but needless to say, because it's not about me right now. It's about us. But that happened, and I tried coming to you for a little bit of help and counsel, but even that was kind of hard and like awkward, because it was kind of like we're still kind of broken up. There's still kind of like unfinished stuff. Do we really want to, you know what I mean? So we weren't really engaging like that. He, thought he was about to be Paul and go walk down this path that he believed he was called to. I just kept on my merry way. But in that same breath, he was still liking all my pictures on IG. He was still sending me heart eyes. I'm like, ain't you supposed to be out there doing what you said? Because don't let me feel like this breakup was in vain. You said you have something to do. I didn't see you doing that. You seem a little distracted right now.
I need to keep a close eye on
Why you need to keep a close eye?
just in case.
But that's the thing, though.
Like grab.
But people were grabbing. They were. Like, honestly, I gotta be honest, and I am not proud of this. I was trying to forget about you. And it was hard, because it was like, I met other guys again. Same story. It was like, oh, they're a good guy, but they might not be a godly guy. And it was like starting over again. And it was a little just daunting, because some of them were cool, some of them not so much, but it just all felt purposeless, and it all ended just weird. Like, it never went anywhere. It never became anything established or anything like that. And in the interim, a whole year has gone by, so it's like 2018 now. And in 2018, we're still connected on social media and stuff. So in 2018, that's when I saw you, and I started noticing that you started looking like you were going down a different path. Like, I was also keeping eyes on him too, you feel me? So like, I started noticing, like, you were hanging around a different kind of crowd, and you were going to like these parties and concerts with these like outrageous rappers and like, or no name rappers. I mean, I don't know, but
I'm gonna give you some context.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him talk about that part.
The time where we was like, I remember me and my brother, we was faithfully going to resting place, and we was being interns there and stuff, and we had experiences with God like never before, and what the enemy tries to do is try to cut you off from the source, try to cut you off from community, brotherhood, sisterhood. And I just remember that the car that we was using, it broke down, so we had no way to get to resting place, and yeah, we could have asked for help and stuff, but man, each way was at least 2 hours, 1 hour open our back. So who's going to really take the time to actually get us there? Because the people that we know was living up north, but it ain't no excuse. I didn't think nobody was going to try to help us because we was going to rest in place faithfully, like Monday through Friday.
Right.
So it's kind of like we was sort of disconnected for what we was receiving. And honestly, if you start to hang around your old crowd, tend to revert back to the stuff that you was doing. We started going to parties, going to concerts. At the time she was talking about she seen me at concert. I was trying to be a photographer, you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, my mother was going through just a rough situation, with her living. We've been just from my life, I've been with my mom for like forever, seeing her go through certain things in life.
Put like a toll on you.
Yeah, put a toll on me. And just the situation that she was in at the time, it really put a damper on my belief. Because I'm like, God, like, where are you? Like, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, I've been praying, I've been like, why haven't my prayers for my mother, have been answered? I don't even want nothing from you, just at least help my mom. It was rough, and from that point on, I'm like,
Kind of lost sight.
Yeah.
I'll kind of interject here real quick. So I started picking up on the fact that something's going on with Sadiq. I started noticing a change in his behavior, and just like he said, the things he was doing, the places he was with, the people he was with, and I'm like, something's off here. He doesn't seem like himself. And when we reconnected, like in person, I think it was when I wanted his help with me moving. So I stayed in Jersey, but I moved a little bit further south. Not as south as him, but less north than where I was. Right. And I needed help moving my things. I was living by myself. I didn't have any family in Jersey. Majority of my family is back in the Caribbean, so I don't have a lot of family that's like close and nearby to help me with things like that. Except for a sister that lives in the Bronx, and she doesn't have a car either. So that was the situation at the time. But I got a U-Haul, and I was like, well, Sadiq knows how to drive, and he lives in Jersey, so let me see if he's free and he can help me. So he did. He came over. He helped me move. You stayed the night because it was an hour and a half drive, and I had to move first thing in the morning. So in order for us to be able to, actually, no, I did have a car.
Oh yeah.
I eventually got a car. I forgot. Yeah, okay, I take that back. I did eventually get a car. I had a little Ford Fiesta, a little toot-toot. Yeah. But I needed someone to drive the truck, and that was you. So I needed him to drive the truck while I drove my car behind him. So he came and helped me move my things or whatever, and then we set up the bed and everything. We got everything set up to move out the next day, and when you came, you stayed on the couch, and once we were done moving and cleaning up everything, I also crashed on the couch, and tell me why he was making googly eyes at me. And I'm like, I know he not trying to flirt with me after he dumps me. I know that much. You feel me? And I think you kissed me. I think you tried. No, you did. He did kiss me, y'all. And I was like, okay, what is this? I am getting mixed signals. Like, you told me this whole spiel about a year ago. Now it's something else. Like, what's happening here? So you helped me move, and ever since then, we kept in contact. I wanted to keep in contact with you because I could tell something had changed. And remember at the time, you also decided to grow your hair out. So now he needed somebody to do his hair, and he knew that I knew how to do hair. So every 2 seconds, it's like, can you braid my hair? Can you come down? Can you drive an hour and change out and braid my hair for me for free, and then drive an hour and change back on a weekly basis? These were the demands I was getting from this man who was not paying me no money to do his hair.
Yo, she used to come. She used to drive that.
Faithfully. Every time. One time he hit me up on a random Wednesday, now for now, talking about I got somewhere to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Am I your on-call stylist?
She's
first of
definitely
all.
up y'all.
Like, we were keeping connected a lot through that, but by me coming to see him and help him with his hair and stuff, I started really getting an eye and perspective on what was really happening. At the time, you were staying with your brother, and they were staying like in the basement, and I started realizing that something had seriously shifted. Like his demeanor, the way he talked, the way he moved, the way he interacted, I was like, this is not the same guy I fell in love with. And I was concerned. I grew concerned and I grew worried because I was like, what's going on? And I remember having a heart-to-heart conversation with you about this. I think we were in my car. And I remember like asking you for real, tell me what's up. What's the tea? Like, what's been going on? And that's when you started to open up to me about your living situation and your family and all that stuff that's been going on and how it started to affect you mentally and spiritually. And I remember feeling so heartbroken for you because I felt like, oh my gosh, like you lose sight of God, because it sounded like you started to resent God. And that was so hard for me to hear and see because I remember how excited and fulfilled and on fire he was. And I'm like, no. And I remember like actually asking God and praying to God, like, God, how can I help him? Because it breaks my heart to see him this way. And I don't know why, I just felt like I had to stay in his life. I had to stay connected because I felt like nothing else, there was nothing around from what I could see that was a positive influence that could even turn the situation around. And I was like,
and like we would used to go to like resting place like here and there, so it wasn't like a constant thing that we was getting.
right.
I was really just depressed.
Yeah.
I was really depressed. I was heartbroken, and what men tend to do, they either try to hide the depression through anger or hide the depression through some type of activity.
Yeah.
We don't really express it and open up about how we truly feel.
At the time, I could tell you were hiding. You were trying to deflect and you were trying to act like everything was cool and you were fine, but I knew you weren't fine. Like, I could just tell. And at the time, I felt like I was crazy because I don't know what possessed me.
But
Looking back on it now, I feel like it was God telling me I needed to be positioned there. But at the time, I didn't understand why I was there. I would have moments where I'm talking to myself like, why am I here? Why am I doing? Why? Knowing me, like when you know who I am, you understand there's very little that I even want to get involved with or tolerate. So there was a lot of questions I had for myself. But I felt like I needed to stick beside him. So I stuck beside him. But not as his woman, but as his friend. So I would still, speak to him, check up on him and stuff. Still was regularly braiding his hair, like I said. So we saw each other frequently, and within those frequent meetings, he started flirting with me again. Started taking, making passes at me, is that what people say? It was giving very much so mixed signals. I didn't understand, I didn't like it. I was like, yo, make up your mind. What do you want? Because I'm not one to play games. I don't care to play games. And in this time, we have officially entered Sadiq's F era. Okay? At least that's what I call it.
her experience.
My experience of that version. I didn't know him when he was in college. So that's another part of his life that I'm glad I wasn't there for. Prior to him going through the transformations he's gone through. But this is my own taste of what college must have looked for him. So in this moment in time, I want to say you're kind of leading me on. Because it's like one minute you're acting like, oh my gosh, I miss you, and
Next minute I'm telling her like, well, I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, I don't want to be with you. And stuff.
But we weren't even together yet. Remember, we
know.
weren't together yet.
Oh, okay.
We were just hanging out.
Right.
But you were still flirting with me, and I still had feelings for Sadiq. I still cared about Sadiq. I wouldn't be there if I didn't care about him. I genuinely cared about him as a person. So I didn't like my feelings being played with because, I do like him.
Right.
But I don't want want to, at the same time, I didn't want to hinder you, because that was the whole reason for us separating the first time around. Even though it was kind of ironic, because I thought our separation would have been good for you. But it turned out that you hit rock bottom when we separated, and I was like, what happened? I thought you was on the up and up, and then I now look at you and it's kind of like, what's going on? So that was confusing in itself, and I'm like, how is that working out for you? So I always kind of had that thought in the back of my head, like, yo, I don't want to be a hindrance. I don't want to mess you up and get in the way of what God has for you in your life. But at that time, you wasn't doing anything that, you know, in regards to God and what he had, you know, called you to, or anything of that nature. So I was like, all right, maybe I should step in and help, which I did. Played footsie for a little while. Be real. This was going on from summer of 2018 to winter of 2018 of all this tag, and it was when we were approaching December of us kind of hanging out, talking. At this point, y'all, we are seeing each other kind of often. We started kissing again and stuff like that. And it got to, like, he would come over to my place to see me and all of this. And it got to a place where it felt like we were dating again. We were kind of dating again.
Yeah.
And
December 12th.
not 12, 20. When is our anniversary, Sadi?
What? I remember our wedding.
Speak up. We can't hear you. What? What is it?
When we started dating, it was December 22nd. That's it, right?
Anywho, he almost got caught slipping just now. You see that? But yeah. But basically, like, you want to hear this love story, because people really think this is like this beautiful love story, and it's not. December comes around, and I have to go home again. And by home, I mean again. Synchro U.S. Virgin Islands. It's so funny because this is how we met. And it's time for me to go home. I was going home for the winter break to go see my family, spend some time, go to I don't remember. But it was Christmas season around this time. And I was getting ready to go home, and I basically gave this boy an ultimatum, for the lack of better words. Because I'm gonna be real, we were doing this on and off thing. It was like, he loves me not. I didn't know. It was becoming kind of tiring, because he was going through his own thing, and it was kind of like, it felt
just dragging her.
Yeah, like, it was kind of like, if we're gonna do this, let's do it, and if we're not, let's not. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be feel like I'm being tied to something that's not, that someone else isn't committed. So I was getting ready to leave, and I was going to be gone for like a couple weeks, I want to say. And I told him straight up, I'm like, listen, I'm about to go on vacation. I'm about to see some old friends. I'm about to have a good time. I cannot guarantee you that I will or will not see somebody, that I will or will not talk to somebody, because guess what? I ain't with nobody. So, if you are serious about this, then you need to make it official, because I'm going back to the Caribbean. I can't make no guarantee. That was really kind of like how I was feeling time, because I just didn't want to play games. You feel me? And he wanted to play games. I wasn't trying to play games. So I was like, if we're gonna do this, then let's do this. And if we're not, cool, because I'm about to be out anyway. That's basically, you know, how I looked at it at the time. And bear in mind, all this time, I'm also going through my own stuff. I was like a glass half full, trying to pour into him. So visualize that. And basically, I gave him that ultimatum, and he was kind of like, well, I think you were kind of like, well, you darn sure not about to be getting snatched up by nobody else out there, so that's a dub. So you better believe, yeah, we together, you my girl, like, I'm not about to play that. I'm like, oh, so you do know what you want.
We together. I was not playing.
So this was December 2018, December 22nd, that's when we got together, and we have been together ever since. December 2018. So this is like the first official year of our relationship, and what a year it was. I don't even know if we should save that for another video, but this is how we got there. So he's still not fully healed, y'all. I am still having battles of my own, okay? And here we are taking a whack at this a year later again, and it was a lot. It was not pretty to say. Like, it was not pretty, y'all. Like, I don't want people to think this is a pretty fairy tale relationship when they see our wedding and stuff. Like, they're like, oh my gosh, I want that. That's not how this started. It took, we've been together for what, 4 years, 5 years? We're going on 5.
Going on 5 years.
So we've been together for 4 years. It took 4 years for us to get to where we are now. So I just want you guys to keep that in, we'll take that into perspective when you see us and when we tell our story, because it wasn't for the faint of heart. The journey was not for the faint of heart, I will tell you that much, okay? It was 2018 and I was no longer single.
Right.
So that just made my trip back home even more interesting, because when I left this man with my car. Why was he MIA for like 2 days? No idea where he is, no idea where my car is. And then I get a call telling me at some point that my car was on the side of the highway. I wanted to kill him. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. We were, you don't remember this story? He doesn't remember. You don't remember this? With you and your brother? Y'all had my car and y'all talked about it caught a flat or something on the road. Yeah, remember? And we were arguing on the phone because I'm like, yo nigga, where's my car? What did y'all do? What happened? What is going on? I'm like, bro, I leave you with my joint for 1 day and all of this happens. So I'm freaking out, I'm paranoid. I was going through some stuff at home too with my family, like some personal stuff that was, you know, also kind of stressful at the time as well. So like, and that was all going on. And in the background, all of this back in Jersey was going on. And I just felt myself just feeling so stressed and overwhelmed. And I was just like, God, what am I doing? Did I make the right decision? What is happening here? Like, did I rush into things? Like, did I misunderstand what you were trying to say to me? Did I? And we got back from Jersey. Well, I got back from Virgin Islands, and I mean, my car was in one piece, so I was glad about that. But I was too sick. I really got into it because of it, and but I stuck with the knucklehead. So yeah, that kind of concluded our 2018. Before we started the new year, we might have to actually take a trip down memory lane ourselves. You know, recall 2019 for you guys, but that was basically from the time we met to the time we like officially got together. It was not that pretty. It started that way. It felt like a fairy tale in the beginning, I'll be honest. I had, you know, the butterflies from the beginning.
We both had
butterflies. Yeah, we did. We did. He and that's what made that breakup so hard and confusing, because I knew he was just as obsessed with me as I was with him. So I was like, where is this coming from? This is so left field. We both had butterflies. We were in love. I was in love, you know.
Yeah, I was definitely in love.
So yeah, that's what happened. That was the first year, not officially being together, but just the first year of our on and off and the relationship we had with each other at that time. In the next video, we'll probably talk about year 1, which is when we started having some shifts in our lives where we started shacking up. He moved in. We're gonna get to that. That's when things really started hitting the fan. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is also gearing up into COVID time, which is a whole nother thing in itself. Oh man, that was rough. That was so rough. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that in another video. But until then, we hope you guys enjoyed this first video that we made about our relationship and just our love story or our relationship journey, however you guys want to look at it. It's definitely been a long and bumpy and wild ride, but it's been a ride worth having, for sure. I would definitely say that now. Like, I'm grateful we went through the things we went through, and even more grateful for where we are today. We're gonna end the video right here, and then we'll get back to you guys with the next one, explaining year 1, official year 1 of our relationship. Until next time, peace.